of you know me, my long history as an immigration attorney, an advocate for women, LGBT rights, human rights, and civil rights for the last 2 decades in this district. So what are the 3 things you need to remember about me? I am the HIP candidate, all right? That's honesty, integrity, and problem solver. I am a problem solver, and I have been so for my entire career in this district. And it is my hallmark is fighting the fights that are the longest of odds, the longest shots against the Department of Homeland Security that outfunds me by who even knows how many million %, and I win those fights. I win those fights for the small businesses I represent. I win those fights for the asylum cases that I represent and the people seeking asylum from persecution and torture, especially women in sex trafficking and LGBT cases as well. In fact, as you all know by now, you've heard me say many times, I won a national award for my pro bono service. That's the hallmark of my advocacy for people without a voice. And I also win for families. Now, it's been a real rough couple of weeks for women and immigrants. So if you want somebody who's an expert in both of those fields, I'm your woman. And I know a lot of you here have always said we need more women in Congress. We're 18% of women in Congress, and that's unacceptable in the greatest democracy on earth. And I know a lot of you have said it. I'm the only woman in this race. And not only am I the only woman, because it's not just about being the woman in the race, it's being the person who has the best record in representing and advocating women. And no one in this race, no one, has the on-the-ground experience that I have. I am the only one who's actually stood in front of the clinics, who has been pushed and shoved by those so-called sidewalk counselors. And by the way, aren't those counselors committing a malpractice, operating without a license? Someone needs to look into that. I've been there on the ground. I'm the only one in this race who has for the last 2 decades, and in the courts, and doing the free work of representing women and women who've experienced violence against women, and rape victims and rape survivors, and everybody in between. I am the one with the immigration expertise who actually has solutions to this border crisis. And mark my words, this is a serious crisis that is only going to get worse unless we have a voice in Congress who actually knows what they're talking about and has a solution. And I do. So, I will end up by saying, remember that I am the HIP candidate. I'm the only woman in this race with the on-the-ground record of representing women, immigrants, small businesses, and people without a voice. And everything I do in my practice and in this race has to meet 3 tests. It has to be good for small business, it has to be good for the hardworking people of our district, and it has to be good for America. And I am all 3. Thank you very much. I respectfully ask for your vote.